inner child work, many of our emotional responses and beliefs are developed during childhood. So if you were looking at that list of survival strategies, it is really interesting to go, when did I first start doing that? It can often come from a childhood response to our environment and also who we are. And wounded children become wounded adults. And it's amazing how adults, when they are in difficulty, that often their inner children present. So they get very defensive in an argument, or they get very teary when they're feeling threatened. So that's always a very interesting thing to see what someone's emotional responses are.
Or tantrums.
Yeah.
Lashing out.
Those inner children are always present in us. And being able to have that communication with them and that relationship with them, like developing a relationship with your inner child, can be a really beautiful thing. There's a lot of healing that can happen, but it's also where our playfulness comes from. So sometimes you can get clients who had to grow up too fast and have lost that playful side of themselves, so feel very responsible but have no idea how to be fun and free. This is another side of the inner child, that the more that we can come into a relationship with them, the more we can develop. And so when we clear the backlog of our stuff, our children become part of the navigation system. They no longer rule the roost. It's no longer our inner children that are making all of the decisions about whether to marry that man or to eat that bar of chocolate or to make that decision. It can be really, really empowering.
They're not kicking out, are they? They're not like, kicking up a storm. But what you will find is that there'll be literally an internal bell ringing where you go, this is what we mean by they become part of the navigation system. It's like no, I'm not going, no, I'm not doing that thing. No, they are absolutely the ones that will be guiding you on no, that's not right for me. And then it's the adult's job to actually convey that information and put the boundaries in place, because otherwise your inner children are going to kick your ass again. That's my experience with them anyway. Yeah. You said you were going to do that thing, and then there's the self-criticism, and then there's this, and da 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 da. It's like, okay, I can feel this is an uncomfortable conversation I need to have to protect my inner children, because otherwise someone's going to take advantage of me, or I'm going to railroad over my boundaries. And then it's the adult with all of the tools and the techniques that I've learned that then has to go and do it. Except when I was, before we did the work on this, the idea of even having that conversation or having to put in that boundary would have been too terrifying, right? Because we would have been in people pleaser or caretaking or good girl syndrome or whatever it was. So it's actually being able to listen to these children that are inside of us, learn from them and act on their behalf, because it's just our wounding that we're acting on. We're stopping it from becoming a repeated pattern.
And it is all about developing the witness in ourselves. This is the best tool of self-management. Self-management is self-responsibility that has fallen off the end of this slide. But when we can have that witness of, there's a trigger in me. There is one of my favorite phrases. There is a part of me that is feeling this. So there is a witness in me that is able to see an emotional response, but the witness in me, the adult in me, is able to hold this emotion, that it doesn't control the whole situation. And therefore I'm able to respond in an adult fashion rather than just coming from this wounded emotional place. So this is what inner child work can look like. We've got the adult and parent who are looking after the inner child with the fear and anxiety and the angry teenager. So that management, that relationship is a constant conversation, internal dialogue that's happening. And it is the adult and the parent that comes into connection with the tribe, with our friends, with our family, with our therapists. Because what can happen, and you will see this with your clients or maybe experience it yourself, is that when the inner child is in something, I feel really, really anxious, the inner child is looking for a parent. And often when we've got no ability to be able to hold that inner child, we just give it to my partner, can you hold the inner child for me? Or the therapist, can you hold it? Or our friend, can you make me feel better? Whereas the inner child is like, I don't need all of those people. I need you to be able to help me. So it's that really being able to develop that parent who self-manages rather than going to other people to have those problems fixed. And then we've got a higher self, which is overseeing. This is the witness. This is the witness that is seeing the whole situation and is able to see it from a bigger perspective. So this is if you're climbing the emotional mountain, this is you at the top of the mountain who's able to look at the journey you're going on and going, oh, keep going, you got this. And so this process, understanding that we have different sides of ourselves, can be the most empowering thing when it comes to emotional intelligence.